Hi guys, today I want to talk you briefly about the ControllerAs syntax, a nice feature introduced in AngularJs 1.1.5. It's a very good way to structure your controllers and also solves a few problems that you might encounter when you have nested controllers and you want to reference property from the parents or the grandparents. And as well, when you have property with the same name in your scope into different controllers, it will help you in actually simplify the way that you will access those properties in your HTML template. So let's have a quick look. I have an application here which has basically nothing other than a top bar. And as you can see, there's basically nothing into that other than an empty page and this top bar as I mentioned. We have only 3 files, an index.html. I've used the starter template to build that up. We have included our app.js script, our ControllerJs, and of course all the Angular and Bootstrap libraries. My app.js is just an Angular module with the name demo app. And here in the index.html, as usual, I declare the ng app in the entire page. So now let's create a few controllers. What we want to show on this page is just a text string saying hello and the name, and the second one showing hello, another name, son of parent, which is the other name we'll show above. So let me just do it. So we'll create a controller for this module. Angular.module demo app dot controller. We'll call this controller parent, and in here we'll declare a scope name. Scope name will be John. In the same way, we want to declare another controller, which we'll call son. And the son of John will be Sam. That's it. We can now go back to our index.html and we'll quickly create 2 controllers. I'll use Emmet, that will simplify everything for me. And if you don't use this plugin, I really suggest you to do that, because you'll be able to write HTML code and also CSS rules in no time. So like this, and then we'll create 2 of those. And here, parent controller, son controller. We actually want to take this one and nest it in our parent div, like this. In the parent, we'll add a simple h1 that says hello name, which is the parent name, John. And in the child controller, we'll do a similar thing, but it will be something like hello name, in this case Sam. And then we want to actually access a parent scope property, and to do so, we'll do $parent.name. If I've done everything properly, if I refresh my page, I should now see hello John and hello Sam, son of John. That's right, it works, but the problem is when you have 10, 12, 15 nested controllers, and in order to access a simple property in the parent scope or in the grandparent scope, you need to start writing something like $parent, and so on, $parent, blah blah blah, no? So this is one of the issues that the ControllerAs syntax will solve. Also your code will be much more readable and clean, and you solve as well a problem where AngularJS 2 will get rid of the $scope property, so in that case you really need to use the ControllerAs syntax. So let's now refactor our code, starting from the controller.js file. First of all, we want to get rid of the $scope here. We don't want to inject it anymore. We don't need this annotation. Here. We don't need it even here. This, we can get rid of that. Remove all the square brackets in here. Okay, so, and the scope here, and this comma that is really not needed. Okay, so we just have a function, an empty function. So what we can do here directly is actually change all the scope with these and this, like that. So this, as you might know, references the controller. What I do in general, just to make it more readable, I declare a variable like prt equals this, and in here, instead of writing this, I write prt.name, same thing here, bar son equals this, and here same thing, son, maybe not song, son.name. So this is all we need to do in our controller. So let's try to save, because I want to show you something, and refresh our page. As you can see, it doesn't work, it's completely broken, because we need to go back to our index.html and use the ControllerAs syntax. So here we need to do something as prt, and here as son. This is sufficient for our controller declaration. So what the ControllerAs syntax does is actually it stores the controller instance in a scope property. That's what it does. In here we need now to put prt as a prefix. See, in here we do the same thing, son.name, and here instead of writing $parent.name, we can simply write prt.name. So let's save it, and let's refresh our page. As you can see, it still works. It's much more readable. You no longer have the problem of writing all these nasty $parent. If tomorrow you move to AngularJS, there is one less thing to be worried about, because you got rid of the scope. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I really recommend you to start using ControllerAs syntax.